You guys know I love Honey Love shapewear. I've been wearing it for a couple years now. It makes such a difference. I've tried a lot of undergarments that suck you in, but nothing works as well as Honey Love, and they have so many different items. Treat yourself to the best bras and shapewear on the market and save 20% off at honeylove.com/juicy. Use our exclusive link to get 20% off honeylove.com/juicy. After you purchase, they'll ask you where you heard about them. Please support Juicy Scoop and say it was our show. Tell them we sent you. Say yes to every adventure with Honey Love. Whether you're going back to school yourself or maybe you're the mom that has to wake up, pack the lunches, drop the kids off, go to work, pick up the kids, and then worry about how their day was. It is a lot, and this kind of stress can really affect your hair. Physician formulated with 100% drug-free ingredients, Nutrafol's women's hair growth supplements are clinically tested to multi-target key root causes of thinning, including stress, nutrition, and lifestyle. Nutrafol has multiple formulas that are tailored to give your hair what it needs to grow throughout different stages, such as aging and parenting, as well as for different lifestyles, such as plant-based diets. Address your root causes of hair thinning with Nutrafol, the hair growth routine that keeps up with your life. For a limited time, Nutrafol is offering our Juicy Scoop listeners $10 off your first month subscription and free shipping when you go to Nutrafol.com and enter the promo code JuicyScoop. Nutrafol.com spelled Nutrafol.com, promo code JuicyScoop. That's Nutrafol.com, promo code JuicyScoop.
Heather McDonald has got the juiciest scoop. When you're on the road, when you're on the go, Juicy Scoop is the show to know. She talks Hollywood tales, her real life Mr. Segment serial data, and serial sister. You'll be addicted and addicted fast to the #1 tabloid real life podcast. Listen in, listen up. Woo woo. Heather McDonald, Juicy Scoop.
Hello and welcome to Juicy Scoop. Lucky you, because we have our favorite, my comedy life partner and husband, Chris Franjola. You are back in the Juicy Scoop studio after a whirlwind. Is it a world?
Whirlwind.
A whirl.
Yeah.
How do you spell?
I think it's just like a whirling. You know, the whirlwind.
Well, I don't want to be sensitive to the Tampa and Florida people.
Yeah, they got some.
We're praying for all of you. I don't understand how it works. I've never lived in one, but
I'm going to say
it looks
this.
scary, and I'm praying for you.
I do side splitters in Tampa a lot, a comedy club.
Yes.
And I love the people of Tampa.
Oh.
I do a 6 p.m. show down there, and they show up in droves. So, I mean, it's going to be wild. Good luck to everybody.
I have a couple of people I know in Tampa, too, so
Yeah.
I'm, praying for them. I did get someone that wrote in my Juicy Scoop Obsessed group this long thing of how to treat your friends that are in hurricane areas, and you have no clue of how it works.
Oh.
And, don't keep texting and being like, how are you now?
Oh, okay.
Because the hours leading up to it, there's nothing to report until
Yeah.
it hits you, and you never know what it's going to be when it hits you. So I don't know if I just text just so they know that I've thought of them.
Yeah.
I don't know the proper etiquette.
Maybe just like a one text. I don't know if you need to keep texting. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, just a one.
I don't know either. I just want them to know I'm not fluttering around
Right.
in 90-degree weather here in LA and having fun.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about you, and
Right.
we are all are thinking about you. But Juicy Scoop is a fun escape. And some of the things we're going to talk about are not fun, but we will make it juicy and interesting.
We'll try.
But first off,
I always find it interesting when
Yes.
it's ever a disaster. I feel like outside of a disaster time, in this day and age that we live in, bread and milk are like, nobody does bread and milk anymore. I feel like this milk into something.
you mean unless it's a disaster?
Yeah, but then the moment there's a disaster, get bread and milk. Everybody get to the grocery store. We need bread and milk.
Yeah.
Immediately everyone's buying, like the shelves, the bread and milk is gone.
Yeah,
Well, nobody drinks bread and milk during the outside of the disaster time. Now we all need bread and milk. What are we,
And
prisoners?
that does seem very like Depression era,
Yeah, like
just
19
just a piece of bread, just a plain piece of bread
All sitting there after the disaster with our little milk and our
in like a tin cup.
right.
Oh God, I don't know.
It's gonna be your final days on this. Get some fun stuff,
Yeah.
not bread and milk.
Yeah.
Anyway, there we go.
Chris,
We're off and running.
Chris, We had such a good time. The shows were so good this weekend.
I got to tell you, lately the Juicy Scoop shows, the last one we did before this one,
which
we
was
just
the
did,
Texas ones with you.
Yeah, the Texas run,
Yeah.
and then we just did Connecticut and Boston. And man, they have been. The crowds are great. The shows are great.
It's awesome. I mean, I'm loving our stand-up. Both of us are killing it. Everyone's loving it. And just the theaters were great. I'm really excited for our next two, which is October 18th. First is Minneapolis with Chris and I. And there are tickets left. Not a lot. I definitely foresee this being a sellout. So get on it. That's October 18th. Meet and greets are before at 6. Show is at 7:30. Doors at 6:30. So not too late for you. Like, people, come on. Chicago at the Vic Theater. This one is even closer to selling out. Also with Chris, October 19th. We both love performing in the Midwest. And
Two great cities.
You guys are the best crowd. To remind people, Chicago is where my parents met.
Is that right?
The first date was at the Drake Hotel.
Oh.
And,
fancy.
so I loved the name Drake for one of those reasons. There's a couple other reasons why I loved it. But anyway, here we go. So it's going to be super fun. All right, let's get into the latest. So I've been talking about this woman, Jaguar Wright, who has been giving interviews that I've seen clips for like the last few years. Basically, I've decided she's the Forrest Gump of the hip hop world. You know how in Forrest Gump he was there at every monumental moment?
Right.
Like, it's literally she's there at every monumental moment and can tell about it. She does a little bit in riddles, the diddler this and the diddler that, and and you're like, what? And and a lot of people have been doing impressions of her and parodies of her. And she actually posted one of them. So I'm like, okay, so she has a sense of humor about it.
Right.
She goes on Piers Morgan and she tells some of the more controversial stuff about Jay-Z and Beyonce and what she thinks their involvement is. He was then served a cease and desist.
Piers Morgan.
Yes, from Beyonce and Jay-Z. He had to say, like, so I had this Jaguar Wright woman on, and, and literally his show is called, like, Uncensored, but, he's, like, scared enough.
Right.
So he said, yeah, there's no proof to what she said. And I'm not going to say what she said. Go look it up yourselves, okay? Because
we
I
don't need a cease and desist.
I don't need to just, go missing one day.
Yeah.
But one of the things that's going around is that the people are pulling up clips of all the times someone else has won, like Adele, Britney. There's been a couple others.
Won a Grammy.
Yes, or whatever. Lizzo, where they get their award, and before they thank their mother, their dad, their producer, they say, like, Beyonce. Like, if it wasn't for you, Beyonce, I wouldn't be here, and da-da-da. Some people have said, that's because Beyonce's won so many Grammys, but not for Best Artist or Best Album. Like, one of those she didn't get. So they just want to get up there and be like, that's a travesty, and I shouldn't even be here. I think Adele even said I should break this in half and give it to you. And people are also saying, is that why Kanye jumped up
and
tried to save Taylor's life?
Yeah.
Like, they're literally saying that's why he was like, Taylor, I know you're good, but like, she should have had it. Like, okay, are we good? Are we good? Like, don't go after this girl. It's a lot. Other people are saying, this is all looking into it.
Okay.
But she said worse things than that on the Pierce show. Which
what does she do? Is she a singer?
So she was a singer. She hasn't had an album for 20 years.
Right.
So some of the people that are like, okay, where is your proof? Like, everyone's saying, and there's artists that, there's an attorney that says there's a bigger artist than even Jay-Z that is on these tapes having sex. Doesn't seem like he knows he's being filmed. Or I don't know if they said he or she, but this attorney's like, I've seen it and it'll blow your mind and blah, blah. And other people are like, the stuff is so bad, we have to give it to you in pieces or the world will go on fire. I just am like, I'm sorry. I just have a feeling this is going to be like Epstein, where we have nobody but Diddy.
Yeah.
Like, when are we going to see the other people?
Are you ever going to see the tapes? Because I hear that, like, the FBI has been watching the tapes and stuff.
Like, I'm just like having a good time. I don't know. Like, yeah, are we ever going to see the tapes? Is anybody else going to be brought in?
Right.
There's a million lawsuits. The guy from Texas said, I opened up the phone line. I got over 12,000 calls, or 12,000 calls, 3,000 that were legit, but 150 or 350 that have now joined that I'm willing to represent because I feel there's enough evidence to go after. Then there's the one girl that was represented by Gloria Allred, and then there was a story about her that came out that her boyfriend who worked for Diddy is now saying, I have texts where she was like, lie for me. So now that's making her legitimacy look less.
Mm-hmm.
I guess he's still behind bars. And then JoJo Siwa got into it.
Oh, she could. That's what I've been waiting for.
She pulled a Ricky Gervais.
Oh, in what way?
Oh, people are dying. So there was some dance awards show, and she got something, or she went up to do an award, whatever. She was on a podium, and she said, and I want to make sure that, this is for Beyonce, and just make sure Beyonce gets her props or whatever.
Oh,
and the whole audience goes, oh! Everyone started to get scared, and the girl who posted it was like shake, like they're like, I can't believe JoJo's.
Say goodbye to JoJo Siwa.
I hope that car that's wrapped around with her face is also bulletproof. I don't know.
Wow.
But she was like, and they're like, and I kind of was like, you know what, JoJo? I like you. Like, I'm like, good for you. And sometimes by saying it, like I'm saying right now, that'll protect you. If it's in fact true.
Right.
That'll protect you, because now if something happens to you, that's why the Jaguar hasn't been sued, is still doing interviews. They're like, why aren't they going after her? No, they're going after the big dogs to say, don't get these smaller people that might know something on your show, because then you will be in trouble.
Yeah.
And so that's the cease and desist and da-da-da. Meanwhile, Beyonce went out looking gorgeous, got some press for that because her mother was honored at the Women of the Year glamour thing in New York. So she's just living her life. And
as she should, I mean.
Yeah, why shouldn't she? She didn't do anything wrong. Just people want to thank her when they get on stage, as they shake and a little pee trickles down their. Like,
but I mean, when the Oscars and stuff, when he went an Oscar, and like Jack Nicholson sitting there, she's a big star. So it's not unheard of for people to reference the big stars in the room when they win.
And also musicians love music of other people.
Yeah,
they're like, oh my God, my favorite artist is here. That's why you see Taylor Swift singing and dancing when somebody else is up there. They're not going to hate it.
Yeah.
And they always go, I can't believe, you're right. Actors always go, I can't believe I'm surrounded by these great people. And you're like, how could I get it? It's a little reminds me of course, my favorite Twilight Zone ever from the 1980s movie, where they're all scared of the child. Yeah. That they're like, oh, we love peanut butter and jelly every night for dinner, right? And the child's like this evil person that can turn them into a corn stalk. And so I'm like, I don't know. That's the way it made me feel when everybody was like, why did you give me this award? Jesus Christ! Why did you give me this award?
But I'm up on this, but I'm not that up on it. What are they being accused? That they're in the videos?
These other people, yes, that they're part of it.
What are Beyonce and Jay-Z accused of?
They are allegedly several people in the hip hop world and musician world that are no longer with us on this earth.
Okay.
Jaguar Wright has alluded and also straight out said that somehow they might be involved in these people no longer being on Earth. No evidence to it, just like, talk to this person. Everybody knows. Why do you think Aaliyah went on that plane? Do you really think it's because she packed too many pairs of shoes that it went down?
Yeah. See, here's what I feel about this.
That's a bit much. That's a bit much. Like, you're telling me now one of these hip hop people also had a pilot's license and knew that this plane was shoddy and then also allowed 5 other people to go on it?
Yeah.
No. I mean, planes go down. Little planes go down. It happens. So no, I don't agree with that one. But that's probably the worst of it. Then there's another girl that was supposedly his mistress that was pregnant and is no longer on this earth.
Who, Jay-Z's or P Diddy's?
Jay-Z's. Okay. And then there's, the Kim Porter situation that died of pneumonia.
Yeah.
There's just a lot of those kind of things that, on TikTok, people do some pretty great reporting and putting things together, but there
Right.
is no evidence of any of it.
Yeah, well, that's
yeah.
not a problem.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean,
So,
there's no evidence
yes.
of anything anymore.
Right.
You don't need any evidence anymore, which
Yes.
is fine. I mean, I'm guilty of it too.
Yeah.
Just seeing one little
It's
nugget
interesting.
and then running with it.
Yeah, that's what's keeping it that's what's getting it going and people talking, and you can't blame people for talking. There's this other girl that's all over that said there's tunnels under these properties that I have been trafficked in, and from the Playboy Mansion to Michael Jackson's house to Jay-Z, so all these tunnels in Bel Air, which I'm like, this would be pretty easy to prove.
All of it would be pretty
go
easy
get
to-
Josh Flagg.
Yeah. right.
If Josh Flagg doesn't know about these tunnels, who knows the whole history
Yeah.
of LA from 1920 on, then, we would know if there's tunnels. Maybe there's tunnels. Maybe we don't know why they're tunnels. Maybe they were like the bomb shelter back in the day. I don't know what it
tunnels
is.
could be for, yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like once again,
And
it's all
girls
pick
just-
up the tile, go
Yeah.
in the house, and see there's a tunnel. Oh no! Why is that so? Where's Geraldo Rivera when we need him? Yeah, do a
Yes.
special. I found a tunnel that Jay-Z was trafficking. I mean,
Yeah.
it's all pretty easy.
Yeah. So I think that's why you got to be. So I'm just saying, I'm not saying any of this is true. I'm saying this is what the rumblings are, which led to him getting this cease and desist.
So all of this, from what I'm gathering,
Yes.
is it's all hip hop community stuff, which I'm not
Yes.
really. I mean, I like
They
all that.
allude that you're going to die. There's politicians. There's that. There's every famous person has a photo with P Diddy. P Diddy was on Ellen's show 25 times. He was on
everybody
Kimmel's
has
show.
a
He's
P.
been on
Diddy, yeah.
every single show. Chelsea Lately, every single show.
Right.
People have gone to his parties because how are you not going to go to the party? It's in the Hamptons. Everybody's there. And then it doesn't mean they stayed. It doesn't mean they've done anything wrong, So, having a picture with Oprah, having a picture with Obama, having a picture with Donald Trump doesn't mean,
That they were there.
yeah, doesn't mean that any of those people have done anything nefarious, wrong, whatever.
Right.
And so,
Yeah, but it seems to me at this point exclusively because I'm hearing like hip hop names being thrown around.
Yeah, it's a
I'm
lot
not-
of hip hop people. Yeah.
Okay, and then
Which
like
I'm only familiar with half of the people that Jaguar Wright talks about.
yeah. I mean, I'm pretty familiar.
I don't
with
know
it,
about D Heavy and
But
Heaven.
Billy
and,
Joel's not in any of these sex. You know what I'm saying? Like the people I like, are they in the sex tapes? Like, I want to know.
I haven't heard about Elton John.
Yeah, like
Billy
are
Joel.
those guys, the people I like, is Eric Clapton, getting baby oiled up? If that's the case, then I'm like, oh no. But right at this point,
one person that's happy is Dave Grohl.
oh, Dave Grohl's getting the heat taken off him.
You guys, I absolutely love Honey Love sculpt wear. It is a must for me. It makes every outfit look better, but also I love that it feels great. It makes me feel confident, and I want you guys to too. The Super Power Short smooth shapes and lifts. We all want it to lift that booty, giving you a flawless silhouette under any outfit. So whether it's like a really important night and you're wearing a dress, or you want to wear it under jeans just to have that smooth look of your jeans coming up and a t-shirt over and no bulges, you guys will love it. The Super Power Short is helping ladies everywhere just sculpt and smooth from stomach to thigh by offering just that perfect amount of compression. And it's a booty lifter, you guys. Boost bands on the back of the thigh give your bottom an amazing shape. That's what I'm saying. You can do it in jeans, you can do it in a dress, and most importantly, it is comfortable. Treat yourself to the best bras and shapewear on the market and save 20% off at honeylove.com/juicy. Use our exclusive link to get 20% off honeylove.com/juicy. After you purchase, they'll ask you where you heard about them. Please support Juicy Scoop and say it was our show. Tell them we sent you. Say yes to every adventure with Honey Love. I love Nutrafol because it has really helped change my hair from what was going on around menopause. I noticed that it was sort of not as thick. The texture had changed. I felt it was dry. So I began taking Nutrafol, and it really made a difference. I also have people in my life that are much younger, but they're dealing with stress, trying to get into college, stressed about being a young adult, and their hair has started to thin and shed. This is why Nutrafol has a proactive approach. Add Nutrafol to your routine this fall and get ahead of the impact stress can have on your hair health. Your hair is never just about your hair, and Nutrafol knows that. It could be your dating life, your diet, the juggling act that parenting can be, finding your rhythm and new routines, or even following your favorite sports team in an intense season. It could be almost anything that has almost nothing to do with hair. That's why Nutrafol takes a whole body approach to hair health, addressing the problems inside to help your hair grow on the outside. Address your root causes of hair thinning with Nutrafol, the hair growth routine that keeps up with your life. For a limited time, Nutrafol is offering our Juicy Scoop listeners $10 off your first month subscription and free shipping when you go to Nutrafol.com and enter the promo code JuicyScoop. Nutrafol.com spelled Nutrafol.com, promo code JuicyScoop. That's Nutrafol.com, promo code JuicyScoop.
I mean, Dave Grohl, I guess, went about it the best way. He's like, hey, this is what happened. It's
He
not
did. He
great,
got ahead
but
of it, yeah.
but it's happened.
But we still don't know who the baby mama to be is. We don't know if
No,
they're
you
getting
didn't learn that.
divorced. You know, we don't know what's going on with that. Same with RFK. Very thrilled that this P Diddy stuff keeps going and happening.
Because he
this
had a
kind of
texting, a
this kind of
sexting.
got dropped in the middle of P Diddy, which is RFK, Robert Kennedy Jr., who was running for president and now is not. He was doing interviews with this woman a 30-year-old woman who then it came out she's lost her job at the radio, or not the radio, at the newspaper or the magazine, lost her job and everything because it was revealed to the bosses that they were having inappropriate, allegedly, sexting relationship.
Well, I mean, with his voice, you have to sext. He can't get on the, I like to go down on you. He's got to do the sexting because he couldn't do voice because that's not sexy.
You're right.
Yeah,
Sexting
hearing
is
him
texting.
talk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I assume because she was engaged, I think the whistleblower was her fiance, and because I'm like, what?
Right.
Why she wouldn't tell? And I don't think the magazine would care to reveal it. Otherwise, I think that he made it aware to them, and then they had to disclose it, and then it had to get out. But nobody knows if they're getting divorced. They haven't spoken about it. They're just like being quiet, wanting, hey, let's focus on Florida. Let's focus on North Carolina. Let's focus on P. Diddy. Let's focus on Dave Grohl. Oh, no, we're Dave Grohl. Okay, let's focus on, what else can
But
take
it
the
is
heat off.
interesting. Like, I don't know if maybe they have, but in the case of like the RFK thing, there's got to be there's got to be evidence of the texting. So it's easy to find. Like anybody could find texts that you've sent. So why, if they've happened, show the text.
Well, I think because she's not suing,
Okay.
she's accepted being, suspended or whatever it is.
Right.
So she would like it to go away too. She's probably embarrassed that she did it. The fiance, that's over with, I assume. And, Cheryl Hines' wife might be not caring and going to stay with him and doesn't really want, it to be a big thing.
Yeah.
And she, and then because it's sexting and because we haven't actually seen the text, then people can assume this was something to make him look bad because of who he's endorsing, or if it's not really true, or again, who cares? He's been known to be a philanderer and he came from a long line of philandering men.
Yeah.
So
I feel like that one came out and it was a bit of a who cares. Because
Totally.
At that point, he'd stopped running for president.
Right.
So it's like, well, there's nothing to take away from him anymore.
Yeah.
Really. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, and
good one.
the other things coming up about other people involved in this political race. P. Diddy's A-list pals quickly are paying off victims to avoid being publicly named. That's what this lawyer is saying. This is from New York Post. Again, we don't know who these A-listers are. We don't know who's being paid off. It's just this is what someone's saying, and New York Post is saying it.
But here's now what I've heard is the FBI or who's ever investigating this, CIA, whoever it may be. I hear there's thousands of videotapes that they've confiscated and they've been watching. And on these tapes are different celebrities. You could see their faces. They're not. That's what I've been hearing and reading. And I feel like that is something that somebody could and would leak. You know what I mean? I'm not saying nothing has happened, but I'm saying like I feel like an FBI guy. I'm under the impression that when the FBI is watching these, they'll go, come on in here. You got to see this. It's just, yeah, right. Like they're calling everyone in. I mean, maybe that's not the way it works.
Someone on their phone looks up the song just to play it to be funny for a minute.
Right. And then,
no, I think they're have to be very...
You got to see it. Justin Bieber's in this one. And then they go, get in here, Susan. Susan, watch this. And then they go out.
Yeah, how can they all be so
That's
quiet?
what I'm saying. So then they go out to Dollarita night afterwards, have a couple
Dollarita.
You know, I'm saying, wouldn't
Margarita,
they like how
Chili's,
people,
like a Chili's.
Chili's. Well,
okay.
You know, people go out after work
and talk about the day.
And you'd start, I feel like somebody would start telling the bartender, you got to see this tape I watched this afternoon. That's how I feel like these things would.
I think the FBI is a different, for a reason. I think they're a whole different type of person. Or like, I remember my mom sold this house of this family around the corner. And she was like, well, she's like, that guy is CIA. Like, she was like, he's definitely CIA. Nobody knows what he does. He travels all the time. He was in the furniture business. He was like kind of a military-looking older guy, kind of like how in Meet the Parents, like why Ben Stiller thought maybe he was. Like, it was sort of like that. So, like, I do think whoever they get for these things, they are not spilling the beans at a cocktail party or whatever. Like, but also they're younger people. So I'm like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. And then I also know when people work on these things, it is a lot of graphic things to see. So they have to like do it for only a little bit, then go do something else, get mental, health checks and stuff. This,
my neighbor, by the way, in my last house thought I was in the CIA or some sort of high up government. Because
that's
he would
so flattering.
He was like an old. I know. That's what I thought.
Meanwhile, you're like, "Hey,
he asked,
here at Science Blues."
He saw me leaving at like weird times of 4:00 in the morning in like black cars, and he finally asked my nanny. He's like, "What is that? What does he do? Like, tell me seriously what he does." And my nanny was like, he wants to know what he thinks you're, because he sees me walking around in the middle of the afternoon on a Wednesday. Nothing.
It's all very suspicious.
Yeah, and then on like a Friday, I'm taking off.
You look like your look. You could be.
That's what he said.
You could be old military turned CIA.
Goes, everything about this guy is.
Oh,
I said,
I love this.
I said, the truth is, I was heading to the Columbus Funny Bone. Yeah. So.
Oh, that is so good.
It is exciting.
Well, before we get to this one, 50 Cent is doing an interview too. And
he's doing like a documentary for Netflix or
He's doing that, but he also did an interview. And this part I thought was juicy, in which he said, P Diddy represented Ciroc. He had a big deal with Ciroc.
Right.
And about 6 months or less than a year ago, he was suing them for racial discrimination. I don't really understand what the premise was that, because, I don't know what he was saying. Maybe they were not marketing correctly or whatever. And they're owned by this big other liquor company, Diageo or something.
Okay.
Which allegedly is also owned by BlackRock.
Okay.
Because people were like, why now? People have been rumbling and saying things. Why now did it all come? Because then right after the lawsuit, the Cassie thing came out and he paid her off. And then the video came out the video came out maybe because of all that. Anyway, he dropped the lawsuit.
Okay.
It was too late. Like, did someone in this powerful place be like, all right, now it's time to open up the floodgates? Like,
so what you're talking about is the Clintons. I feel like it all comes down to, and the Clintons were
he
involved.
did endorse Hillary.
Yeah.
He did rock the vote. There are photos with her, but again, what are you going to not, Puff Daddy? He's just a little teddy bear, at the time. So of course she was like, sure, I need the hip. This is a whole demographic of people that, listen to his music and think he's like, a successful black dad, so like whatever, but yeah, so there's that. Then there's this one is Radar Online. Two shameless A-list Diddy pals. Again, we don't know who once lived and partied with the mogul, infected innocent women with herpes. So now there's herpes claims.
Oh, okay.
So,
I mean, I figure if there's that many people rolling around, somebody's got it. You know what I mean?
I just am like, just like the Epstein, just one other person. The only person that went down for Epstein is the woman
Yeah.
And I'm not, and she
Right.
deserves to.
Yeah.
Ghislaine.
Ghislaine Maxwell.
She's the
yes.
only one.
Mm-hmm.
He's dead, allegedly. He's dead. And she's the only one
Oh,
doing
is he not
time.
dead?
Well, you know, some people think he's not.
But
some
here's
people
the-
think he's that he was a deep fake and he's at an island with somebody else. And Diddy just
Elvis.
arrived there,
Elvis.
and they found some other poor guy that sort of has
Right.
weird eyes like Diddy, and he's the one that's actually going to go do the time and go to prison and whatever.
Right.
That's a whole nother thing.
This is my. I mean, I feel like we live in a world now, just of like now with conspiracy theories and things like that. I'm not saying these are, but I feel if everything's a conspiracy theory, then it kind of takes away from the ones that are truly like.
Yeah.
If everything's going to be a conspiracy theory, then they're like, well, there's some shit just happens.
I just have always felt with conspiracy theories that one, two, you know, more than three people, I just don't believe that it can go down.
Yeah.
I think when you're getting into like, you know, these people that all work for the government and you're like, this is just like a 35-year-old guy that's making like $150,000 a year. Like he's going to keep the secret till
Right.
the day he dies. Like, I don't know. Like when it gets to be like the only way they could pull this off is 30, 40 people all taking it to the grave.
Right.
No, I don't.
And not to ruin anyone's fun, but the government runs the DMV. Have you ever been there? Like, do you think they could put together an elaborate plan of Diddy and baby oil? I mean, come on. They can't get your
Yeah.
license to you on time.
I think a lot of horrible, horrible shit went down. I appreciate people doing their due diligence and making content out of it and putting together old videos and old interviews and old music videos. And because the one girl that said about the tunnels, someone showed a video. She was in one of his music videos.
Yeah.
That was sort of a more sinister, I can't remember the song video. Again, now with AI, I don't know what I'm seeing when I'm whatever. But that is what the rumblings are. Now we have another one.
Just one more thing before
Yes,
we get into
yes,
this one.
yes.
Now, 50 Cent, this guy's got to be, he must have nothing on him because he's been accusing not just Diddy, but so many different hip hop people forever.
Yeah.
And so you figured people would be going out and trying to dig up anything on him.
There's
And
nothing
he's-
on him.
I know. He seems to be pretty
because
clean.
he wrote the book, which we read
Yeah.
because he dated Chelsea for a minute.
Yeah, he's a dear friend.
And he was total delight.
Total delight.
I didn't see him drink a sip of alcohol
didn't,
or
yeah.
do any illicit anything.
Just a
drugs.
sweetheart of a guy, really.
Yeah, he just would like, you know, come to the shows and like laugh and then go to sleep like in the plane and like nothing bad. Total
Went to Steve Marvelstein's birthday party. He did had like a weird bar in Santa Monica.
He was playing Connect 4
Yeah.
on the floor with Chelsea's nephews.
Yeah.
In the
know.
at a New Jersey house.
Right.
And then while he did that, I got to go in his bulletproof car and listen to the latest song.
Yeah, some Maybach or something. he
Yeah.
had. Yeah.
And
right.
I was like, wow, this is fun.
Yeah.
And so I think all of his crimes were done between the ages of 9 and like 20.
Right.
And when he was like a drug dealer. And so hopefully maybe that's the case. Maybe he knows his hands are clean, but he's aware of it all. And he's like,
Yeah.
okay, now I can supposedly that doc he's been working on for 4 years and supposedly Netflix bought it and we're going to see it.
Wow. Exciting stuff. All right.
But we'll
on to
see.
the-
Like until there's one more person
I
that's actually been like, you're in trouble. Like, I
Right.
just need one name for sure announced for me to be like, okay, now we're on to something.
Yeah. Otherwise, it's just more.
Well, otherwise,
more of the same.
I'm afraid it's going to be like the Epstein thing where,
Yeah.
there were powerful people involved, but then powerful people cover it up and we never find out.
Right. Okay.
So, okay, Garth Brooks has been accused of rape and battery in a lawsuit. So what I gather from this is he had a hair stylist and makeup artist that he worked with for many years.
Mhm.
She is saying that throughout the years, he would grope her, he'd grab her while she was trying to do the hair, he would flirt with her, he would change his clothes in front of her, where she was like, didn't want it. It became, I guess, a flirty relationship. There's text messages that I've seen that are allegedly true. Those things can be fake too, where he is talking about his big pole and she's responding like, yes, thank you, or whatever. So it looked like something was going on. And that he said, let's have a threesome with Trisha Yearwood, his wife.
Mm-hmm.
And then and then she said one day it was, a full-blown assault. But then somehow she was still trapped into having to talk to him and work with him and whatever. Now he says that she was trying to blackmail him and say, I've come upon hard times. You better give me this much money or I'm going to ruin your life and tell all this. And I guess at first he gave her some and then he was like, no, I'm not. And then this lawsuit came out and now he is countersuing her. And in the countersuit, because the original one was Jane Doe, and now he has named her. And now people are like, that's awful that you did. And he's like, I don't care because it isn't true. And you're trying to ruin my life.
Right.
So I'm going to countersue you and let everyone know that, you worked for me, but this never happened. And I never did this assault. That's where we're at now.
And what about Trisha Yearwood sold a house or something? That's what I had heard.
Oh.
But who knows? This is
Trisha
I just read the headline. I don't read the facts.
Do you remember that sitcom, Kate and Allie?
Kate and Allie.
Two divorced women live together.
Jane Curtin and
Trisha. Hear me out. Trisha Yearwood, Cheryl Hines.
Like a
reboot. They just get a little reboot.
Oh yeah,
they just show together.
Oh, because their husbands.
They're like,
both,
like one, people love country singers,
Mm-hmm.
and then she's like a comedic actress, and
and
it's women in their 50s, just
perfect,
just starting over, and they both had high profile cads for husbands.
Yeah, great idea.
But it's one thing to say we had an affair; it's another to say I was assaulted. So I think that's where he's, saying like, no, this isn't, this isn't okay. And this is, so that's.
I mean, I like Garth Brooks. I hope it's not true. He always seems like a nice guy. I mean, what do I know? I don't know. I like his music.
Yeah.
I think.
I mean, these things are, these things are tough. I don't know. We don't know. So but that's just the story to fill you guys in so you know what's going on. So in this one in Touch Weekly, they said Trisha Yearwood heard Garth Brooks' threesome request. That's what the lawsuit claims. So she's saying she knew that he had asked her for it.
Oh.
So maybe she's trying to depose her as well if this goes, keeps going. This is just sort of interesting. Sister wives. Cody is left with the one wife, Robin.
Okay.
And that's his only legal wife. And then they're trying to sell their house. And now one of the other wives is saying, no, you can't sell it because you owe me for child support. So this is just a huge mess. This show has been going on for 17 years. They're the least wealthy reality stars I've ever seen. They never build their land on Coyote Pass. And now he's left with one wife who also hates him. And now she can't even sell her house, which is supposedly stocked with shit. Okay, did you hear about this Lisa Marie thing?
No.
This is sad and weird, but I'm just going to.
It is a sad, It
is sad, but I'm just going to say it because it's just everywhere.
Ahead.
So, Lisa Marie Presley, who died, about a half a year ago?
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we kind of don't really know what she died from. It was kind of weird.
I think it was some sort of overdose, from what I remember.
I thought it was just like something weird. Yeah, there was something weird. Yeah. And anyway, unfortunately, so she was writing a memoir. She also did a bunch of audio tapes about her life. Riley, her daughter, who's the actress, has now completed a memoir for her.
Right.
And in this memoir, when her son passed away of ending his life himself, he was 20, and she said, I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know if I'm going to bury him at what's the Elvis place?
The Graceland.
I don't know if I'm going to bury him at Graceland. I don't know if I'm going to bury him here. I don't know what I'm going to do.
Right.
So a funeral home guy goes, that's okay. Just, I'll bring him over. And she kept him in a room at 55 degrees for 2 months in Calabasas, in her home in Calabasas.
Oh, can you do that?
They said you can in California.
Really?
Other states you cannot.
Yeah.
But in California, there's no rule about having to bury or dispose of a body. So
I think there's a weird story about Casey Kasem. Remember him? America's Top 40, Casey Kasem.
Oh, yeah. I interviewed the daughter and how awful the stepmother was.
His body was like...
there was a big
for
argument.
For like a year, they were just moving it around.
Arguments about where to do it. Yeah. And they wanted him to be... They were like, he wants to be buried in California. This is what he loves. And then the second wife, the evil stepmother, as was perceived by the daughters, then was like, no, he's going to be buried in like Scotland. It was like some weird country that he had no ties to. Just to like, yeah. So anyway, very strange.
Well, that is a strange story. I didn't hear that.
For the Halloween people,
Oh.
the poltergeist house is becoming an Airbnb. This is in Simi Valley, the actual house from Poltergeist.
Great movie.
And if you guys have not seen Poltergeist,
original is so
you
good.
have to watch the original because he's a realtor of a development and all the houses. The dad is. And he's got 3
Craig
kids.
T. Nelson played that part, I think.
What's that? Yeah.
Yeah.
And then strange things start happening. And that's all I'm going to tell you because if you haven't seen it.
The first movie to successfully use a creepy clown. Creepy clowns now become a staple of horror films, but they were
You're
like
right.
the first one to use creepy clown, and it was terrifying.
And you think that did kind of ruin it for the clown industry? Like people that were clowns, like it used to be. Also, who was the Jane Wayne Gacy? John Wayne Gacy
yeah.
was a serial killer of young boys,
Also
and
a
he
clown.
too was a clown that you'd hire for your parties. Both of those things ruined it for clowns forever.
Yeah, clowning.
The John Wayne Gacy thing happened first,
Right.
and
they never really, outside of like big shoes and squirting flowers, they rested on their laurels.
Yeah.
I feel like you could have come up with some other fun stuff. We got it. You got big feet. You got to do more than that.
But anyway, they made it, and they restored it to look just like that.
Oh, that's good.
Like, remember when they're in the kitchen where she goes, look, and she puts her daughter on the ground with a helmet, and the daughter's like able to slide across the, like before the shit really gets crazy, and she's like, what is going on? The wife. It is probably the best horror movie I've ever seen. And then the little lady that walks, come into the light. All are welcome.
Yeah.
Carol Ann. And then she goes, this house is clean.
Yeah.
When she gets rid of the ghosts. But
great
then you'll have to
movie.
see. Maybe she get rid of them. Okay, Clint Eastwood, 94.
Yeah.
His longtime girlfriend, who he met, she was working at his restaurant, and they've been together since 2018. She was only in her early 60s, and unfortunately, she passed. Well, he has a new girlfriend only 78 days after she passed.
Well, he's got to hurry up. He doesn't have time to be scrolling.
Yeah. So the new girlfriend, one of the daughters said like she's lovely and we're glad that our dad has somebody. I have no idea how old she is.
Right.
But he has moved along. We know his ex-wife.
We do. She's lovely. She's a friend of mine.
Yes.
I love her. Yeah.
Yes.
She comes to all my shows. And Dina.
She met him. What is her? Dina.
Yeah.
Dina Eastwood. This is some Juicy Scoop
Dina
history.
Ruiz. She doesn't go by.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
She had a one season of a reality show on E! Back in the day when everyone was like, how do we create another Kardashian kind of a story?
Yeah.
And it was kind of an odd reality show. It was that she was married to Clint. She was 30, 40 years younger than him back then. And she had one daughter with him, and she was good with all the other kids. And she was a former reporter. That's how she met him. She reported on him.
Yeah.
And, but along with taking care of Clint, who would just walk in like once, she was also managing a boy band.
Oh, really?
That was what the show was.
They had to we got to get a hook here.
We had to get a hook.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden she's like, you have no idea how hard it is with the boy band. And then like one of the stories was one of the boy guys was gay, but we didn't know but she was like, he should be able to come out. And the other ones were like, we're not sure. But then does he have a crush on this one? And
I can't believe you remember this.
I remember the most insignificant things in life. And I remember this because I met her when we did the upfronts in New York, knowing that the show was coming, and she was a fan of Chelsea Lately, so she came up to me, and so immediately I was like, I love you, and I'm going to watch your show.
Yeah.
So then I watched the show, and I don't know where that boy band went, and the show did not continue, and then they got divorced, because the quickest way to divorce is for your wife, whose biggest claim and fame was to be married to someone famous. Once she gets a reality show.
They were married for a long time. They have a kid and everything.
Once she gets a reality show,
So now he has
You will want to divorce her if you're a big actor.
Oh, I know.
So then they got divorced.
Oh,
then
you
he
like
had this
Alec
girlfriend.
Baldwin? You think that's the end of this one? Because they have a reality show now?
He and Hilaria.
Yeah.
So we have Alec is crazy. He's crazy, and I've got all the
Baldwinitos.
Yes, Baldwinitos, and we're gonna make Spanish rice. And her accent is almost gone though. So I feel my prediction that show is on TLC because they fit the mold of having a lot of kids for TLC. You either have to be real little or have a lot of kids or weigh a lot to be on TLC. Those are the things. Or have multiple wives, like Sister Wives. But she, I think that the accent will be gone and there'll be no reference to Spanish.
No, there couldn't be. They should. I mean, that would be the episode that people watch.
But that's my prediction.
Like,
they'll just act like that never happened.
Yeah, right.
And it'll just be
I'm
like
kind of
craziness.
excited to kind of see that one.
I know.
Just
When
for like
is
one
that going to be?
episode.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
We're going to. So.
But the funny thing is, like, it's.
Yeah.
You know, you're like, I don't know how old his girlfriend is, but people will be upset. Like, she's 30 years his junior. Yeah. What, 78? You know, it's not like.
Well, the other girl was 60-something, so that's like 30, 40 because he's 94.
Right.
So you're right. But 60 is like, today's 60 is not that old to be with Clint, but, you know, he is a good time. Okay. Speaking of which, Bill Belichick's girlfriend.
Yeah.
Well, they're having a fun summer. She's 24.
It's amazing.
How old is he? 72.
Yeah.
And
he looks every inch of. Let's just say, like Clint Eastwood looks like he's kind of a handsome. Even at 94, he's a handsome, like tall.
Rugged.
He's Clint Eastwood. Yeah. This guy looks like every old man. The body, the face, just everything. He never put an ounce of moisturizer anywhere near his face. Just a craggy old man.
Yeah, with like a mushy nose.
Yeah,
an old mushy nose. Well, anyway, speaking of that body, he was wearing a Taylor Swift sweatshirt that she must have gotten him.
Oh, no. She's going to doll this old fool up. Yeah.
She had another old boyfriend prior to him.
Some people go for that.
So she's, I always am just like, what are her girlfriends saying?
Right.
Like, I mean, granted, they're probably like, when can we go on Billy's boat? You know, and like whatever. But then they also have to get on the phone and be like, what is her name? Jordan. They have to be like, oh my God, Jordan is so fucking weird. Like, whatever. We're going to go on Bill's boat. We got the good seats. Hopefully we can meet like a rich guy who's like 40. But good for her taking one for the team. I mean, she's truly taking one for the team. And I hope that team is like a bunch of girls that are like.
But the other thing is, like, he's also like a hardened football coach. Like, what do they even talk about? And then there was that one time where the offensive line failed us. Oh, great.
This is what I think. I think I would love to see her do a master class.
Yeah.
On, hey, girls, you know, this is not a daddy. This is not a zaddy. This is a grand zaddy or whatever.
Right.
If you want to go for the really old, not you're 25 and you're going for 45, not 55, not even 61. Okay.
70s
We're
and
talking
above.
70 and over.
Right.
We're talking a whole different, multiple doctor's appointments a week.
You know, my favorite, scabs. Yeah. Just scabs.
A lot of ace bandages.
Yeah, a lot of gauze.
Just a whole thing. Okay. Yeah. You know, how do you hook that guy and how do you make your days fun until he dies? And it's a master class and so you see him. You know, You're not going to go for the guy that's just, you know, getting an ice cream. You're going to go for the person that owns the football team, owns the whatever.
Yeah.
And so you find out where that guy is. He's recently widowed. He's whatever. The fifth wife is gone. And how do you like strike up the convo to let him know you are down to do whatever.
Right.
Give him a Viagra, count to 11, get it over with, and then live the life of a rich girl that can invite all her friends, and then he can have his old cronies just look at the bodies, and he could be like, look, your old men friends that can see, they can look, they can't touch. I'm bringing the girls on the yacht.
Yeah.
I will do what I have to do. I will act like you're funny and interested. And then when we get married, everyone will be at the wedding like, they're so cute. No, I know it's weird, you guys. I know you wouldn't think they're a match, but they're a match. Like, I want to see that girl do I want to see the master class of that.
I'd go to see that. I'd listen to that. But also, there is kind of a school of thought that, like, this girl's 24. And she's like, what am I supposed to do? Go out with some 24-year-old guy?
After this?
Yeah, like, or before, like, here's my options. Bill Belichick, who's a multi-millionaire coach for the, the winningest coach of all time.
Let's listen to Taylor Swift.
Or sit there with some 24-year-old who's like, anyway, Joe Rogan said, like, oh.
That's right. True.
Yeah.
True. And a lot of those, and you know what? Bill Belichick, he doesn't play video games.
No, exactly.
He doesn't scream
there might
at
be
him.
some upside.
He might, doesn't scream at him with his headsets. He doesn't have roommates.
Yeah, all of it.
Yeah, she can shop whenever she wants. He treats her friends.
Yeah.
And some girls are like, I don't really care. You never know. A girl like this could also not really be that into sex. Like, she could have been like, I had a boyfriend before. I never had an orgasm. I never was that into it. So, like, I'm perfectly happy enjoying this high life of just having the best seats, have people wait on me, having a guy, take my bags, and I just love it, and I don't care.
Yeah.
So who knows?
You think she's just waiting for, like, the last couple, like, when is Tom Brady coming over? Because he was Tom Brady's coach for many. She's just like, are you guys not friends or what? I told you I was going to be Tom Brady and all this, but
right. Or bring over your bring over the 40-year-old, bring over the 40-year-old friend so that but then he's probably like, no, because I don't want you, going to the next guy that's like 50 and still put together.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder what they'll be for Halloween. What couple are they going to be?
Right.
Peter and I last year were Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce. I'm officially over any stories about them this year.
Yeah.
I'm fine. Like, either get married or I don't want to hear about it. I don't care what you wore. I don't care if you went to the game or not. I don't, those pop culture stories about them, I feel is very last year, and I don't care. Like, I'm fine. I'm happy for them. Good for you. Like, good for everyone's loving him in Grotesque or whatever. And
I just don't like that somehow him and his brother, they're on every commercial on TV now, and and for whatever reason, there's only I guess a couple of ways you can go with athletes. You could turn them into complete buffoons, which is what they've done to the two of them. They're like, just being real wacky, and like Cheerios commercials.
Yeah, cereal
and stuff.
commercials.
They're feeding each other. Come here, choo-choo trains coming. I'm like, oh my God. These guys were like legitimate athletes a year ago, and now they're doing choo-choo train jokes on Cheerios commercials.
Well, I have something to say. It's a prediction / warning to the Kelce brothers. They got $100 million for their podcast. Yeah. Well, I predict the next brother team that's going to take over the podcast world, Lyle and Eric Menendez. Watch it happen. They're going to get out, and they're going to start to have a podcast, and it's going to be about crime and prison life, and people are going to let them interview them. It won't happen right away, but from the moment they get out until their first podcast will happen within 7.5 months.
That's not a bad prediction.
It's one of my best.
Do you think they'll get out?
Yes.
Well, now because
I'll explain why. Because there was evidence that was withheld. One of the most compelling pieces of evidence is one of the there was more sexual abuse evidence coming from family members and stuff that had witnessed weird stuff and been told weird stuff in the first trial. Then that was a mistrial. Then the second trial, much of that was taken off. Also, people did not like Leslie Abramson. Someone wrote me, and I thought this was a great point. She was very unpopular. It was all on court TV. Part of the reason this Juicy Scooper thinks she was unpopular was because she looked a lot like Glenn Close from Fatal Attraction, which everybody hated that character. Women hated her. Men hated her.
Right.
And she had that curly hair. And so that wasn't good. And so anyway, also the DA at the time had already lost the OJ case, and there was another case he had lost. So
and Marsha Clark also the tight curl for a while.
Yeah,
remember?
Yes, true.
Yeah,
and so it was a mandate to get them convicted. So they got convicted, and the sexual abuse just wasn't really handled right. One of the things was there was one cousin that had said that he told him, "This is what my dad is doing to him," and he was like, "Does that happen to you?" And the kid didn't have a dad. So he's like, well, I don't know. I don't have a dad. But they were so innocent. He was. So anyway, that guy, I think it's him. They found a letter. That man has passed. They found a letter from Eric from 1980, whatever, spelling out the abuse at the time that could not be faked.
Right.
So that evidence is now been found. Also, the Menudo brothers, the Menudo bands.
The band, yeah.
Their dad was in the music industry, Jose Menendez. And there are kids that are now men from that band that are coming forward and saying we were raped by
really?
by Jose. So those type of evidence, if they were to that could get them a new trial, but what the experts are saying is going to happen is that evidence could be presented to a judge, and they could say, instead, we believe that then this would constitute manslaughter.
Yeah.
And therefore, if they had been convicted of manslaughter, it would have been less than 35 years.
Yeah.
And so they've already done 35 years. And that is why people think they will get out.
Okay. And has this been brought upon by the Netflix or did light has been shed upon it?
It's been going on for a few years.
Right.
A few years in just the society realizing like that sexual abuse, we look at it differently than we did in the 80s.
Yeah.
And just like, wow, how much time they're doing. And, they've been like model citizens. They both graduated from UC Irvine.
Right. In jail.
Yeah. And they do a lot for people. And they both have wives of 20 years. And so, yeah.
Yeah.
Wait till
let them out.
Yeah. And
All
then they'll start up their podcast in one of their garages.
I don't think they'd be doing Cheerios commercials. Like, I feel like it's too dark.
They're not going to do Cheerios. They're going to do a crime podcast.
Yeah.
And jail and all this other stuff. And we'll see.
And Kim Kardashian somehow involved.
But eventually they'll be like getting tired of the bullshit of podcasting.
Yeah.
Too.
Right.
And they'll be like,
have to do
again?
Manscaped ads. Right. Yeah, we're good.
They're going to be like, what? Oh.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
What?
Right.
Lyle didn't, Lyle is the older one and he blames Eric for the whole thing because
really?
It was Eric who then, they were not even really suspects from what I understand until Eric just couldn't take it anymore and went to the therapist that they had to go to because they had stolen all this stuff from homes in Calabasas. That's why they moved to Beverly Hills. And part of them getting off was your kids need to see a therapist. So they're going to the therapist. They never told the therapist about the abuse. But after they killed him, Eric couldn't take it anymore, went and told the therapist. And that's how it all got found out.
Oh.
So Lyle could. So can you imagine if Eric forgot to press record? You stupid little brother!
No.
You ruined everything
Spent
for
30
us.
years in prison because of you.
Oh, I don't want to redo this episode.
Right.
Okay, speaking of another May December romance, Sean Penn is 64. He has a new girlfriend who's 30.
Wow.
And she's a lot taller than him.
I know. Look at that picture.
Whenever I see his face, I just imagine how bad he smells of like cigarette smoke.
He's so craggly looking. Yeah.
He is a smoker.
Yeah.
He's a smoker. And then also, Bill Maher is dating Al Pacino's latest baby mama who's 30.
Oh, really?
Al Pacino says it's fine. I don't know if he knows about Bill Maher, but he has said we're just friends. We're just friends.
Go ahead, have her. I've already done it, my friend.
Wait, that's what he was, the blind guy,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I'll take a flame. What was the name of that movie with Chris O'Donnell? Scent of a Woman. Yeah.
Oh my God, that's really good. Yeah, he doesn't care.
Yeah.
So now Bill Maher, who's always dated younger women.
Yeah, always.
And apparently has a big appendage.
Oh, is that
Allegedly.
right?
Well, I have
talking
real
about it.
evidence.
I think I was telling
I
you.
had a very good friend. I brought her to a party of his.
Okay.
And then they dated. And she told me he did. And then, but this is how long ago it was. This is how long this was. She's like, and then afterwards, he just like got up and was like on the internet. She's like, who does that? Like the internet was kind of new. This was
Yeah.
like mid to late 90s.
Wow.
And so that was it.
I listen to his podcast a lot. I like his podcast called Club Random, and he talks about his dick a lot on Club Random, which
How
is
do you
weird.
talk about it? What do you
It's
say?
just-
Like it's winking at me, it's fun, it's down, it's sad, it's
I don't know.
big?
I feel like for
How
a
do you
70,
talk? You talk
was
about
he
it like a third person?
Yeah, whatever he is, 70 or something. I feel like it's weird just to mention it at all. But there is like a lot of, strangely enough, a lot of talk about him having sex and his dick.
Well, they were seen at the Chateau Marmont.
Okay.
He could have been asking her, what she thought of some political views. I don't know. She's 30.
I'll
she's
tell
a
you
new
this: when I
mom.
was a waiter, he came into my restaurant pretty much every night because we served late, and he used to tape his show right down
at the
street.
at the CBS place, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he would come in a lot.
Before 9/11.
Great guy, great tipper. I'll say that. Sweetheart of a guy and a great tipper. That's when you're a waiter. They could do any. They could be. I remember the guy. What was his name? The record producer.
The one that shot the girl.
one that shot the girl.
Spectre.
Phil Spector. He came in one night. The night he shot the woman, he went up to the House of Blues. That's where she was working.
Mm-hmm.
Met her there. Came into my restaurant first. Not my restaurant. I was working there in Mirabel. And he got a Diet Coke and tipped me $100. Later that night, shot a woman in the face. And I was like, hey, whatever. Tip me $100.
Nicest guy in the world. I don't know if it's true. That girl, I met as well prior to her.
Yeah.
She wanted to do stand-up.
Oh.
And we did a night at the Belly Room together.
Oh, really?
And she was beautiful, and she was like, you're so funny. Like, how could I start doing this? I got to do something other than trying to be a singer and an actress. What if I could do stand-up? I recently was talking to my sister Shannon on my Patreon, and I said, we could do a 90s, you, me, and Shannon could do a 90s show about the 90s where we are kind of the Forest Gumps. And every single one of these stories, because like all your stories, like it was all these monumental times. Like Shannon actually applied for a job in the DA's office by one of the prosecuting attorneys in the Menendez trial.
Yeah, well, you
and
guys
I remember
were like living it.
Yeah, I remember she came home and she was like, that was the one who, brought up that they didn't sell guns at the Big Five at that time, or whatever the story was, that he got caught in a lie about the timeline of buying guns, and was he really fearful that they were going to kill him or not?
Right.
Which was so, so there was but I remember that story too. But anyway, I went to go see Bill Maher's show, a taping of that show with my friend that he was kind of loosely dating, boning, whatever. And after the show, so it's before 9/11. It was when it was called Politically Incorrect.
Yes, sure.
So then I was like, well, thank you so much. That was so cool. Now I'm like an aspiring stand-up, but I'm not going to be like asked to be on the show, whatever. And he's like, well, where do you want to go now? And I'm like, what do you mean? And he's like, you guys want to go to Spago? And I was like, okay. And he's like, do you have a car? And I did. I had like my little Toyota Celica gift from graduating from USC, red. And he's like, I'll just hop in your car. So I think he sat in the front, and my friend sat in the back, and we went to Spago. And I remember we were talking about something, and somehow I said how funny Joan Rivers was about something she said about wearing fur, and that she's like, this animal has had the best time of its life. It's been to the greatest shows. I thought it was something. And he did not like that joke.
Oh, he's a very...
because he was super...
He's a big animal.
And I was like, oh.
Yeah.
And it was just like one of those moments where you think you're on the same page, and all of a sudden he was like, to me, because I was like talking about how much I love Joan Rivers. And I was like, oh, okay, Anyway, he bought the meal. And then he told me that my friend, I was 27 at the time, and she was about 33. And I won't say her name, but I'll call her Rose. He goes, Rose is the oldest girl I've ever dated. Now, at that time, how old would he be at that time? In 1997.
He's 68 now, so...
So let's do the math. Okay.
Yeah.
So how old? I didn't calculate.
I mean, like 30 years ago. So, yeah, you'd be...
So wait, if it was 97, you're right. So that would have been 27 years ago.
Yeah.
So he was only 38?
38, 39? Right. I mean, if I'm doing the math.
I guess I thought he was older than that.
Yeah.
Because I remember, I knew he was older than her, but I think he's always kind of looked around 53.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think when he was 35, he looked 53. And I think when he was like I think now, I mean, he looks a little older than that, but he still doesn't look. He doesn't look his age.
Right.
He's one of sometimes some people, like.
Yeah, when they look old early, they just stay.
They stay the same.
Look. Yeah.
I feel like that's Tracee Ellis Ross too.
Right.
Like when she was 27, she looked more like she was like 35, and now that she's 50, she still looks 35. Like she just looks like it's just interesting.
You ever see these memes? A lot of times they'll show them on the internet of like the casts of 70s shows and their age at the time they were taping that show. It's like like Red Fox on Sanford & Son was like 41. He looked like he was 70, and Archie Bunker and all the. I mean, all of them.
Yes, the men and the guys like in Cheers and stuff. The two guys that were like on the bar that Cheers, and then also Rue McCallaghan.
Yeah, Rue McClanahan.
Was 51.
Yeah,
I know I'm going to blow your mind one more time.
Okay,
my mom and I showed her property.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I couldn't believe it that she didn't buy from us,
okay.
bitch. But anyway, we did show her property. Around Calabasas.
See, you are involved in it. You are the Forrest
I'm involved
Gump.
in every fucking
You're
thing.
the Forrest Gump of 80s, either crime or sitcoms.
Okay, this I thought was really interesting. I heard about this, actually, that this was coming along because this woman who was in this Netflix show, I've talked about her, Julia Hart. She did a show kind of around COVID. It came out, but it was called My Unorthodox Life. She left being an Orthodox Jew.
Yeah, I remember that.
And then married a big guy. Now she's still divorcing him, whatever. She's a tiny little thing. I went in her closet and she had like 85 pairs of Gucci shoes.
Ooh.
Anyway, she told me she told me this like 3 years ago, that there's going to be a plane that can take you from New York to Europe in an hour.
Right.
And she's like an investor in it or something.
Yeah, I've been hearing about this for 100 years. Yeah.
100 years you've heard
about
it?
I feel like, I'm exaggerating, but I feel like this has been in the works for a long time.
I mean, I'm sure when people talked about planes in the first place, people were like, I'm sure they'll be able to figure it out. I mean, that would be great.
Oh, I mean, I don't care about that. Just get me to like Ohio to LA.
I know. That's why I'm like, can they do it for like
speed
East
that up
Coast?
a little bit?
Yeah.
And it says it goes 4,600 miles an hour. I don't need 4,000. Just get it up to like 800 miles, like just a little bit faster.
Yeah.
I would like, instead of the 5 hours, make it 3.
Right.
You know.
But I guess so. This would be a special new plane, and yeah. I mean, how much business are people doing in London that they'd be going all the time? Like, I guess you treat it like going from LA to San Francisco, like in Pretty Woman, just for dinner and the opera.
Yeah.
Like, just take you to London.
I know people who kind of do that. They go back and forth. To like.
Remember that scene, Pretty Woman, when they go on the plane? I can't believe it. It's a dream coming true. I was just
Is that
like,
the song that plays during?
Yes, and I was just like, God, I want to be a hooker.
We watched it. My wife and I watched it recently. It happened to be coming on TBS or something. And you don't think you're going to start watch for a
can't
minute.
stop.
The next thing you know, you continue to watch it for an hour. And our takeaway from it was he was such a dick.
Yeah.
Like there's several scenes where he actually shushes her a few times. Like, shush. Even like the one where they go to Beverly, I'm taking you to Beverly Hills to go shopping because they fucked you over. And he shushes her about 5 times in that scene.
The movie is so wrong on so many ways. Because I'm like, first of all, like he has no problem that she's only like 20.
Right.
So she's like laying in the bed and she goes, my mom said I was a bum magnet. Every bum around met me or whatever. I'm like, for the 2 years you were in high school before you left to come here and be a hooker? Right. And I'm like, you had to be a hooker like that quick on a street corner. Like you couldn't try to do anything else.
Right.
And then it was just, wake up, get ready and, suck some D's like in a dirty car. and like that was just going to be okay.
It's fine. It's just
the best movie ever.
It was back in a different time. I mean, the movie from that era, of that era, there is more sexual assault in those movies. Like every
Seinfeld's friend hit her, remember?
Yes.
What's his name?
Jason Alexander. They're all of them. Even Marty McFly, there's like a weird sexual assault in that. And Back to the Future with Leah Thompson.
Like Kevin Bacon hits the girl in
Footloose.
Footloose.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't hit her. Does he?
Yes, he does.
It's the other guy.
No, you're right. It's
the other guy.
Her other boyfriend.
Kevin Bacon saves her.
Yes, you're right. How can I say that about Kevin Bacon? Oh my God. I'm going to get a cease and desist now from Kevin Bacon. Get your facts right, lady.
I hope he's never in any of these freak offs.
Especially after he and his wife of 27 years got screwed over by Bernie Madoff.
Yeah, but now they got to do
orange
juice commercials. He literally does like bacon commercials now. He's like, they've probably been asking him his whole career, and he's like, I'm not doing bacon commercials. Then Bernie Madoff came. He's like, I'll do a bacon commercial.
Meanwhile, I have been asking over and over, when can I do a McDonald's commercial?
Right.
And I have tagged them, I have written them, and they just go, haha. I'm like, you don't think, like, just even a small, like,
Right.
I've seen Ross has done McDonald's commercial. I've seen Christina Pazinski has done, like, there's a lower level influencer type of commercial.
Right.
And they're not going to get me, Heather McDonald's,
Do
to do
you
it.
like McDonald's?
Yes. I've talked about it over and over. I used to get these, the healthy chicken wraps, like with the kids.
Okay, sure.
I've always liked it. They have the best Diet Cokes on earth.
Yeah, it is a pretty good Diet Coke.
They're the cleanest bathrooms.
How do you
Peter
feel about the
always
breakfast? You like an egg McMuffin?
I love go off. It's the maple. It's like a pancake with an
McGriddle.
egg. The McGriddle.
I don't like it.
Oh.
I don't like sweet and savory
Well, you're not
together.
going to get the ad campaign.
No, I'm not.
I'm going to get it.
Yeah, good.
I'm secreting. I'm manifesting it. I
Yeah.
am going to do it all. I cannot believe them. I know maybe it would be confusing. I did tell the kids when I was little, when they made fun of me, your brother must be Ronald. Is your brother Ronald McDonald?
Yeah.
And my mom goes, just tell him your dad owns McDonald's. So I went to school and I said, my dad owns McDonald's. And everyone was kissing my ass for about 3 days.
Oh, good.
Until a little shit showed up and said, my dad says it's a franchise and nobody really
Yeah.
owns it anymore.
Yeah, right.
Right? Because the McDonald brothers sold it. No
Wow.
connection to McDonald's.
Yeah.
But I still would like a
I
piece
would
of the
love
pie.
it. Yeah, please.
Apple pie, also delicious.
Also,
Sometimes a
too
little
hot on the inside.
Let it cool.
A woman's suit. Some old lady.
I wonder,
remember?
do they still make the apple pie? What
They
about,
do.
you know, another thing I've learned on the TikTok is these secret menus. Have you seen those?
I've heard about them.
Where you
I don't want to start any trouble when I'm in line. You know?
Well, apparently you can get like a breakfast burrito from In-N-Out.
Yeah, I've heard about
Like
it.
really crazy things that make no sense.
I know, but I feel like there's the disconnect. They say that, but then try ordering it. When they're like, excuse me, I saw on TikTok that you make, they're like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, it's just going to be a disconnect. Just try. It's not going to be as easy to get it as you think it is.
Yeah, I don't know. This girl, she was about to walk down the aisle, or she's planning her wedding.
Mm-hmm.
And then one day she just looked at her maid of honor and said, wait a minute, you're who I love.
Oh.
Thank God she canceled the wedding right before. And then the girl got rid of her husband. And now they're just living happily ever after.
How's this not a movie? Somebody called Jennifer Lawrence. We got something. And who's the other one who was in Twilight? She's a lesbian. She'd be those two. Kristen Stewart.
Yes.
Here we go. Let's have some fun.
Absolutely. I think this is I think this is the movie.
All right.
You know, when I talked to producer Patrick, we need not the formulaic rom-com that they play in the dry bars. I need something for today.
Right.
And this is the kind of thing that is today.
I think we need a new, I believe, I don't know if producer Patrick talked about this with you, but I believe we need a new, like The Hangover. We need a new R-rated comedy that's like hilarious from beginning to end and wrong and a different, a little pushing the envelope. We need that again. Animal House, Hangover.
100%. Yeah, we know.
There was so many of them.
We did talk about. I talked about how my boys have to watch all the old ones.
Yeah, those Step
and
Brothers.
I'm like, there's got to be like something that someone can tap into that world. Like, if there's some funny, and who's got a star in it? Matt Rife.
Matt. Well, sure.
Get somebody that also can make people aware. To see it on the phone and then go, oh, actually, okay, let me watch this like funny, crazy movie. No, he could be in a movie, okay?
Yeah.
And, he's the good-looking guy, but he can also be funny. But he shouldn't be the star.
Right.
Two other guys that are really funny should be the star, and then, he comes in, because he's new to movies. He could just have a little...
I don't like your casting. Jacob Elordi. That's good looking. I mean, Matt Rife is good looking. I think we're going a little crazy on the good looking. He's a funny guy. I think he's a funny guy.
Remember how Brad Pitt showed up in Thelma and Louise? He's just going to show up like that.
Okay.
He's just going to show up as something, and they're just like, this idiot, but then he has like a funny moment, but he's, not an actor. So like we can't lead a movie.
Okay.
But he could put his big toe in it.
All right.
And then, I
Gotcha.
like it.
All
And then
right.
like two other guys that we don't know that are just funny,
Okay.
that can be Is there anybody that's funny who's 25 that's doing movies?
I think the Saturday Night Live guys are pretty funny. I think you can get it.
Yes.
You can pick a couple of guys off Saturday Night Live. I think
Yes.
there's a couple of guys on there that are funny.
Young.
Yeah, young Latinos. That's what
Yeah.
I'm looking at.
Yeah.
And then Jacob Elordi comes in, big old dong on him.
Does he have a big dick?
It looks to me. I don't even know anything about it, but I'm looking at that guy.
Is he taking John Hamm's spot?
Sure,
Remember how
yeah,
John,
exactly.
Remember how John
Just
Hamm,
the look of him.
whenever there was like a slow day, they would just be like him in Central Park wearing like
sweatpants.
gray sweatpants and just like a schlong.
Big old schlong on him. Yeah.
Now, when your schlong looks that big, is it because that guy didn't even wear underwear?
I don't even know. I mean, yeah. I feel like, John Hamm had it all. I mean, the guy was good looking. He was playing like the right part during the Mad Men days.
Have you heard that straight guys are like doing more squats and they're getting more bubble asses?
I have not heard that, but I'm all sure.
I heard it from two of my friends who are gay. They're a gay couple.
Yeah.
And they said, yeah, that's like happening.
Right.
I'm
Well,
like-
the gays, they love a bubble ass.
I know, but I'm saying straight guys are now making that a point of like their workout routines. There's arm day, there's leg day. Now for guys, there's butt day. And
Really?
Yeah, and they're straight. And
All
they
right.
know that the butt, it's where it's at. I've seen a lot of ads for pants like this will up your butt for men.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like it was like tighten it and like bring it up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, if butt's where it's at, you and I are fucked. You know what I mean? Like,
I feel girl butts have gone down.
Oh, okay.
The
Yeah.
rise of male butts is what's in right now. And the girl butt, like everybody says, like Khloe Kardashian's, all their butts are going down. Kyle, Kim, and Khloe's butts have gone down.
Yeah.
They still have a good ass on them, but it's not the enormousness that it was.
I've been
like
watching a
3
lot of
years ago.
Kylie on Instagram. Kylie doing makeup tutorials. I watch them.
I just think she's so beautiful.
Oh my God, she's the best looking one of all of them.
She looks so beautiful, and I just saw an ad of her clothing line that
Yeah.
looks amazing. It's like leather dresses and pants and pieces
Mm-hmm.
and like a leather jacket that could be a jacket or it could also be a dress. And I was like, good for you.
who's
She's
she?
got good style.
Yeah, and she's not the Timothy Chalamet. That was
Yes,
fake,
she
right?
is.
But that was fake.
We don't know.
I feel like it was like right around the time he was playing Willy Wonka, and they needed some hype.
I don't think
And-
that they're broken up. I think that she has taken, like he doesn't like being in the show, but she's, is doing really well with all of her clothing.
Yeah.
I feel like she's moving a little way. She still does all the makeup stuff, but she knows that is probably, girls get finicky. You move on from your
Right.
makeup. It's very, very rare that someone like, unless you're 70. Revlon's my only thing. Like a lot of times people like to try all the
Max
different makeup-
Factor.
So now she's doing the clothes and, still has, is a great mom, has 2 cute kids. And yeah, but I feel like he's still
Who's the
in
dad?
it.
Is it Tyga, the dad of those kids?
No, it's the one that had the horrible thing happen.
Oh yeah,
Astroworld.
Yeah, Astroworld. Yeah.
What is his name?
Uh,
Kendrick, not Kendrick Lamar.
Stevie Wonder?
No,
Oh, I
not
don't
Kendrick
remember.
Lamar.
No.
Lamar.
No.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Travis Scott.
Thank
Travis
you.
Scott.
Thank you, Travis Scott.
Travis Scott.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Astroworld, Travis Scott. Yeah, don't know whatever happened with that. They're not
He's
together.
back out on tour. And, yeah.
Yeah, we all forget. Give
Right.
everything 2 years.
Yeah. Everything.
Max 2 years.
Max 2 years.
Minimum 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Chris, tell us, besides being with me, where I know you're heading
Well,
back.
you and I are going. I'm heading back this weekend
Yes.
to right back to Massachusetts, other side of Massachusetts, Springfield, Massachusetts, MGM Casino, Roar Comedy Club in the MGM Casino. One show a night. One show Friday, one show
How
Saturday.
fun, because people are just loving you, and they want to see the whole set, the whole
Come on
thing, so
down.
they can go there. And I love doing a casino.
And then you and I are in Minneapolis and
Chicago, yeah.
And then I'm at the Brad Garrett Comedy Club all week long in Las Vegas, the 21st to the 27th. That's a show
In
a night.
October.
In October,
Nice.
yes. And then November, I go to Columbus, Missouri, the Blue Note, Columbus, Missouri. And then the Blue Room Comedy Club in Springfield, Missouri.
A lot
Great
of
place.
blue.
I know.
Blue
yeah.
eyes.
I thank you. Zanies in Rosemont coming up on the 15th of November. And then a place called Yellow & Co. in Mahomet.
Oh, Rosemont. So when you come to
Rosemont.
Chicago,
I'll probably be plugging it.
be plugging it
I
because
love
that's
it.
not too far.
Hartford, New Hampshire, Comedy at the Carlson. Oh my God, this is in Rochester. Please, I never sell tickets
Fun.
there.
Why?
I don't
Sounds
know.
so cute.
I know,
Comedy
it's
at the
such a
Carlson
cute
sounds-
area too.
Wait, comedy at the Carlisle?
At the Carlson, it's a
At the
great
Carlson.
club.
That just
It's a
sounds like
great
very
club.
cute.
It's so cute, and I'm there November 23rd, Saturday night. What more can I give you, people? And on and on, a million more. Levittown, Long Island. Bananas in New Jersey, Steel Stacks, Funny Bone in Albany. It's all on franjola.fun.
I love it.
And then you and I are having a ball out there
We
together.
really do have fun. We really had a lovely time.
Thank you for the hotel in Boston. What a day in
The
Boston.
Newberry Hotel was so beautiful
Oh.
and such a great location. The room was beautiful. I am bummed I didn't do the fireplace thing.
I know.
The guy came in and said, we can bring in the fresh wood and you can have your fire. This is the first weekend we're lighting up the fires places in the fire. But then after our dinner, you and I both had such an early flights. I was like, do I call this guy up just so I can sit in front of the fire and just be like,
Well, when you're in such a nice hotel like that, you feel like, because we're only there for a day or two.
Yeah, I wish
But
I
you
was
feel
there
like you have to
longer.
use everything. Like, I got to put on the slippers. They put them on next to the bed, so you just walk around in the slippers for 3 minutes. And
they made me a soft robe with
I
HM.
know.
I didn't even realize it until I was wearing it and doing my hair, and I'm like, HM?
was it really for your initials, or was it?
Yes, they gave me that as a gift.
Oh my God!
And no, but it's a beautiful, and the
And it's-
restaurant Contessa was beautiful.
Oh.
We ate there.
Across from like a gorgeous park.
Ugh.
I never been to that part of Boston. I know, don't sue me, Boston people, but I mean, I'm always on the other side of Boston.
Like the one near the seaport.
By Laugh Boston, the comedy
Yeah,
club.
yeah.
By the seaport. I'm never by that real nice area.
I mean, that park and
Oh.
the stores and everything. And what a beautiful time of year to be. So go back and see Chris this weekend.
Yeah.
Gamble, make some money, or
Have
not.
some fun.
Or
Or
not.
do
Just
what
go
you
see
got to
him.
do.
Just go see him. Go
Come
have
out to
dinner.
the shows. Franjola.fun. Cover to cover is the
Yes.
podcast. Come over, listen to Cover to Cover. We're having some fun. Thank you always, Heather.
Everyone loves you, but no one loves you more than me, besides your wife and
Isn't
child
it funny
and your
that
family.
now when I intro you, that's fading quickly. Sometimes when I come home, I was like, oh, I thought you were gone till Monday. I'm like, no, I'm home Sunday. She's like, great. But yeah, it's funny how now I intro you on our shows together. And I say that, we on Chelsea Lately, we did a sketch called Chris and Heather Together Forever as a joke, where we were like two old vaudeville act people. And it's really becoming like a reality.
Well, wait, I have to say that there's two housewives from the OC.
Oh, you showed me the video.
And they basically are doing that.
I know.
And it is, we're gonna go through it together. And I'm like,
This was the big closing number.
yeah, this is a big closing number.
I mean, you showed me the video, and this is not my world. And I was just like, oh my, like who goes to watch this? And you have to be disappointed when you're leaving.
I think it's just one of those things when you're a fan and you get to see them in person and you're like free that night, whatever. But the thing is, when you go see a Chris and Heather Together for our show, you'll be laughing the whole night. Like
Yes.
everybody says, like, my God, my ab muscles, like truly.
It's fun.
When you see another like real comedians.
Well, we're pros. We've been doing it
Yeah.
a long time, like
Took a
those
minute,
those
yeah.
women. Yeah,
you can't.
Those
Yeah.
women, they didn't even learn the lyrics to the song, and they did the dance. They did zero effort put into like choreography.
No, and they were
or-
like, here is a video for when they first started singing it in 2018, and then they come out. I'm like, in 5 years, you couldn't learn the words.
Right, and it's a song everyone knows anyway. It's like a classic number that everyone knows. Whatever. Who are they? What are their
Good
names?
luck to Vicky and Shannon.
Oh.
Good luck.
Yeah,
you
good
know,
luck.
it's a lot harder than people think. It's a lot more effort to go on the road. It's a lot more than anybody thinks. So when you do come, we appreciate
It
it
is funny
so much when
Yeah,
you come.
I say that all the time. I mean, I know.
I
It's a
know
pain
it's
in the
I know
ass.
it's effort go on heathermcdonald.net and buy the ticket. I
just
know
been
it's an
reading.
effort to get a dog sitter. I know it's an effort
To everything.
to get a car. I know it's an effort to put on an outfit.
Yeah. I just read an article yesterday in the New York Times that how we're all becoming homebodies, like more so than ever. People are just staying home.
But nobody goes out for an evening and said, I wish I would have stayed home.
Nobody.
You're always happy you went to the party. You're always happy you went to the concert.
Yeah.
You never regret it. It's good to feel a little tired the next morning, being slightly
At least
hungover.
something to talk
it feels
about.
good.
Yeah. Right.
So yeah,
anyway,
you
bring
the
it
rest
on.
of your life to sleep.
Absolutely.
Love you. Thank you.